All right, so let's talk about the Commanders-Giants game on Sunday night. All right. And I had said a few times, I said, the way that this team's playing defensively, running the ball, Taylor's not really making the mistakes to cost them games. Kind of came back to bite me in the ass because he made 2 critical fumbles. Now, the one, I don't know if I'm going to blame him because Leno just couldn't block Thibodeau, and he was there in 2 seconds, so you couldn't see him. I don't know how you feel about as a quarterback. You can't really do much about that. But the second one, when it's 17-12 in the red zone, you got to take care of the ball there because you cost your team points. But Ron has said he's not making the switch. He's not going back to Carson yet. So how is Joe Theismann feeling about that decision?
Well, first of all, you're right. I mean, one of the things I try and stress with young quarterbacks is you have to understand, you have to protect points. That's like when you get in the red zone, you have to protect points. Mm-hmm. Today is a little bit different than, I guess you could say, years gone by, because now so many quarterbacks throw 50-50 balls. Mm-hmm. They just put it in a general area of the receiver and hope the receiver makes a play, or, if officials actually have their eyes open, they can see pass interference. So those are the things you look at. I think after this week, after you play San Francisco, you've got 2 games. Taylor is basically 6-2-1 as the starting quarterback for this football team. You're still in the hunt. You still actually are right now. I think you still have the 7th spot.
Yeah, you're in right now.
Right.
So, and this is not an easy task going to San Francisco. So you've basically invested 9 weeks with your quarterback, and with 2 weeks to go, you're going to make a change and go back to someone who hasn't played in 2 months. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think Taylor understands he has to protect the football. I think that our football team is built exactly like you said. We're playing great defense and run the football. But the big thing is, and this has been a struggle not just this year, but in the last couple of years, we can't score touchdowns. Mm-mm. We cannot put 7 up on the board, and it's fine to own the first quarter stats. 11 minutes you have control of the ball. The other team has 4, and it's 3-0. Mm-hmm. And you're really setting yourself up for the kind of finishes that we've been dealing with all year. Mm-hmm. Is it's not a football team that can afford a mistake.
Right.
Just we have to play darn near perfect football, and you can't. You can't through the course of a game. And you talk about Thibodeau. I mean, the kid's a force and a half.
He's a stud.
Oh, my God.
I don't care who you put out there to try and block him. It's going to be a problem. He has such great quickness. The one play that just jumped out at me was when Taylor ran the bootleg.
Right.
Thibodeau was going the other way.
Yep.
Who wound up making the tackle?
And he still caught him. Yep.
He still came around and caught him. Yep. But I just think this football team they know who they are. Ron knows who his football team is. It's hard to play cautious. You can't all of a sudden get in the red zone and say, oh, my goodness, okay, we have to protect the 3. You still have to mentally play the game to get touchdowns. And so that's sort of the quandary we're in a little bit. You don't want to make the mistake. You don't want to give up the points, but you don't want to play too cautious because then you're never going to get in the end zone.
Joe, can you explain? So give us your take when you were playing and like being in the red zone, that sort of thing. Did you like being closer, obviously, like 3-yard line or something? Because obviously, you're closer, but the windows are tighter, right?
Yeah, but I had John Riggins, okay? So that's almost a loaded question.
Like not fair. I know, but okay, if you're forced to throw.
No, you know what it is, see, again, it's a little different. I never worked out of a shotgun. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, it's almost easier to work under the center to throw fades than it is to wait for the ball to get to you, for the receiver to make a move. Receivers win routes when it comes to getting close to the in the red zone or, say, inside the 5-yard line. Mm-hmm. They have to buy time at the line of scrimmage so that you have a chance to be able to put the ball up the field where they can catch it in bounds. Mm-hmm. When you're in the shotgun down around the goal line, there's that time from when the ball is snapped, it gets into your hands where you can't get it out that split second quicker than you could if you were under center. Mm-hmm. I still sometimes sort of shake my head a little bit and say, you're very limited in what you can do when you're in the gun inside the 5-yard line. You can't. It's hard to run play.
Are we always in the gun in that position? I don't pay attention enough to realize. Are we always in the shotgun?
Quite often we are.
Yeah.
Not just us. I mean, it's the scourge of the NFL, to be honest with you. you're off tackle play action plays, lining up with somebody in the backfield, being able to pound the ball into the end zone. Those are things that you just don't see as much anymore. San Francisco does it because they have a fullback. This is, you're going up against a football team that has to make a decision on how they want to play going forward.
Right.
From a seeding standpoint, where are they going to go? Because now we're into the time of year where who plays their players, who sits their players. Mm-hmm. And we've got games that will enter into the factor as to who we're going to face. But to answer your question is, I never minded being close. If we were on the 1 yard line, I didn't really even look at the sidelines. I knew it was going to be. It was 70 blast or 50 gut or one of our running plays with Big John. Yeah. And we had, Reggie Branch was a heck of a fullback. Mm-hmm. So, we had, you had plays designed to be able to overpower. Plus, you got to remember, I played one of the best offensive lines in the history of football.
Right.
So I was very blessed that way.
Yeah.
But hey, if I could get it up and give us a chance for a touchdown, I didn't care where I was, whether it's the 1, the 5, the 8, the 10, didn't matter.
One of the key plays was late in the game when it's 20-12, and McLaurin gets called for the illegal formation. Now, right. He claims that he looked over twice to the side judge, and side judge said, "Yeah, you're good." But he had his hand right there on his hip. You saw it, and then he throws the flag. How often is that called? And McLaurin's been in that formation a billion times in his life. He's a smart player.
I can't recall it being called. I can't recall. When you turn, you see how many receivers do you see turn to the official
every time?
Because they want to make sure they're lined up correctly.
Right.
Let me tell you something. Terry McLaurin is not the type of a person to say something that isn't true.
Correct.
I don't care what the league says. I don't care. That to me is irrelevant. I trust Terry McLaurin 100% in getting confirmation from the side judge that he was lined up correctly. What was more egregious was the offensive pass interference on the 2-point play.
That's what I wanted to ask you about.
I thought Chris Collinsworth explained it so well. And, I guess my question is, what's the sense in having an official in the booth if they're going to give you some kind of explanation all the time that verifies what the guys on the field and the ladies on the field are calling? What's the sense in having someone up there? Mm-hmm. It's, what are you telling me? You're telling me that it was interpreted this way, or it looked like it was that way. All of us, we can go, as a fan, I can go to replay and look and see whether his elbow was on the ground, whether he fumbled or not. And it's like Chris was right. How do you know? He didn't even pick the guy who was covering the receiver. Mm-hmm. He was just trying to release up the field.
Right. I feel like he played it just the way he was coached up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is the thing, is as a coach, you're coaching players. And then all of a sudden they do what they're coached to do, and it winds up not being what is interpreted as correct.
Right.
Then you get penalized.
This year, let me tell you, this year has been, I think we'll all agree on this, it hasn't been the best year in officiating in football.
Nope. I watched a bunch of games, not just the Commander game. I watched a bunch of games on Saturday and Sunday where I went, what did he just call? How did he see that?
What about the no call on Samuel, which obviously everybody sees, the guys draped all over him, and it's a tough balancing act for these guys, right? Because they don't want to throw that flag that decides the game on sort of the last play.
But if it's egregious,
you got to. Yeah,
I don't agree with that. If it's pass interference, it's pass interference. It doesn't matter whether it decides the game. It doesn't matter if it's the first play in the end zone or on the field or the last play of the game. You have a job to do.
Mm-hmm. Was that pass interference?
No question.
Yeah.
No question. Hey, listen, if it wasn't, I would tell you. You guys know me well enough. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't, I'd tell you.
Yeah.
But I absolutely believe it 100% was. Mm-hmm. But,
right.
and Ron will say, hey, look, it wasn't just that one play. It boiled down to that one play. But Terry's situation, Taylor has to protect the ball. He's a move-around guy. He tries to make plays with his legs. And he tried to make a play, and the ball got away from him. What the most important thing right now is the Commanders can't look at this game and say, "Oh, our season's over now. We lost to the Giants." You're in the playoff hunt. You've got a yeoman's task. You're going up against the best defense in football right now in San Francisco. There. And then your next couple of games, like I say, it depends on who's going to play going forward. But this is going to be Ron's greatest challenge right now, is to put this game behind the players and say, look, everything is still out in front of us. Let's not wallow in what happened. Let's go make sure it doesn't happen again. And I mean, saying right now, I mean, I don't see the philosophy to say, well, maybe we'll play Carson. There's 3 games left.
Yeah, but I could see them going to Carson if Taylor doesn't play well and they lose. I could see them. I know he doesn't want to play Carson against San Francisco, number 1 defense. He's been rusty. You don't want to do that. But, Joe, I could see him going to Carson if they lose this game and Taylor doesn't play well against Cleveland.
Yeah, and, Cleveland's defense is no slouch. I mean, come on. I mean, it's, they're sort of getting better as they move along a little bit. But, and then, of course, Dallas is the last game. What position will they be in? Will their position be decided?
Yeah.
I mean, do you sit Zeke? Do you sit Pollard? Do you sit Zach? You're still dealing with incredible receivers and a defense that is just swarming. And we're going up against 2 really, Cleveland, I put in a good defense, not a great one. But you got 2 terrific defenses, San Francisco and Dallas.
You'd put your money down right now. Do they close it out? Do they get there? Do they make the playoffs?
Oh, geez, I wish, bet.com. What can I tell you?
BetQL. Well, you know what? If they lose to San Francisco, they've obviously got to win the last 2, and you just got to hope that Seattle and Detroit lose a game.
Yeah, Detroit is on a roll. I mean, they're playing. And
they're not
Seattle,
going to win 10 in a row or whatever. What has Detroit won? 6 of 7?
6 of 7. I think 3 straight.
What are they going to win? 9 of the last 10?
Well, where are they playing? I mean, where are their last?
They're at Carolina. Games? Then they get the Bears, I think, and then they close. Yeah, they got 1 game at home, and then they close at Lambeau.
Yeah. I mean, Detroit's always sort of been a thorn in Aaron's side to a degree, as it is. So I mean, like I say. This is why the league scheduled the games the way they did, because they want this kind of drama in the division. And I think they did it was masterful the way they scheduled it. For us, you got to now it's San Francisco. You can't sit there and say what if anymore. It's got to be out in front of you, not behind you.